Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Fit and Flourishing podcast. I'm your host, Joanna Joy, and today we are talking about food noise. And if you are not sure what this is, stick around, and I'm going to be giving you some tips for how to reduce the food noise in your life. This is going to be a rather short episode, but it's going to be potent and pretty helpful if you are someone who struggles with food noise. So, food noise is the amount of times you think about food in a day. Okay. And I can tell you guys, 5 or 6 years ago, I was constantly thinking about food. It was, what was I going to eat for breakfast? What was I going to eat for lunch? How much did it weigh? Did I hit my protein? Did I hit my carbs? Did I hit my fat? And this was because I came out of the bodybuilding world where counting macros was of the utmost importance and being exactly on point was of the utmost importance. And so I just assumed that I had picked up this habit of having food noise from bodybuilding. And part of that was true, but I also noticed that when I stopped tracking, my brain would be constantly thinking about food. And my clients have expressed to me that this is also something that they've struggled with and that they've felt like, oh, I just can't stop thinking about food. And so, if this is you, I have some tips for you. Number one, if you are constantly dieting, so if you're constantly in a caloric deficit, your brain is going to register that you need more food. So it's going to constantly be thinking about food. So my first tip is to actually eat enough. So stop dieting. And of course, this doesn't mean binge. This doesn't mean overeat. What it means is go back to your maintenance goal for nutrition and for your weight and for your height and for your current activity level. And what this will do is this will physiologically change the way your brain relates to food because you will no longer be thinking about, I can't have this, I can't have that. This was crucial for me. I ended up doing like a version of all in. I didn't know that was a thing, but because I stopped dieting and I just ate to satiety, what I wanted, when I wanted, then my brain stopped searching for food in my free time. But if you're constantly dieting, your body knows that it needs more food than what it's receiving from you. And so your brain will often go to food because it knows that it needs more. So if you want to quiet your food noise, the first thing you want to do is you want to take a break from dieting. Number two, your brain is really, really smart. Your body is smart. Okay, how should I say this? Your body is smart. If you are someone who has had a significant amount of trauma in your life and your brain has been wired to use food as a source of comfort, to use food as a distraction, to use food as a friend, then it makes total sense that you would have a lot of food noise, meaning you would think a lot about food. So you basically have to rewire your brain. And this is tough, okay? You have to be able to train your brain to stop using food as the default thing in your life. So for me, what it would be is like, okay, if I wasn't working or cleaning or doing whatever, my brain would then go to food. I would think about food. I would think about donuts or pizza or whatever. So instead, make your default thing something else. Your default thing could be, I'm a Christian, so it could be reading the Bible. Like, let me think about some Bible verses that are really important to me. Your default thing could be going for a walk. Your default thing could be like scheduling your day for the next day. Your default thing could be cleaning. So finding an alternative to that thought process, because what happens is you finish your day or you get triggered and the first thing your brain wants to do is go to food. And so you have a lot of food noise because you're constantly being triggered or things are coming up. So instead of using food, then find a replacement for that food noise. And the third thing I want you to do is to write down every time you think about food and write down the time and what was happening in your life at that time. So if you wake up and the first thing you think about is food, fine. Most people are hungry in the morning. They want to eat. That's normal. Just write it down. No judgment. The key here is not to judge yourself. Write down when you're here, like thinking about food. And you guys, if it's like every 10 minutes, that's okay for now. Just note and notice what's going on. Are you bored? Are you tired? Are you feeling lonely? Are you angry? Are you happy? Are you sad? What is going on in this moment that you are feeling, that you want to think about food or you want to eat? Once you've written down those times, you can kind of take back. I would say do this for about 3 days and just survey what's happening. Then you can actually start to journal instead of resorting to food. So if you could recognize that when I think about food, it's usually because I'm feeling lonely. Okay, I feel really lonely right now. I wish I had a friend I could talk to. I wish I had my mother here. I wish I had my brother here. I wish I had my father here, my sister, whatever. That is going to be super helpful for you. Okay, so those are my 3 tips for reducing food noise so that you can get your life back. You guys, it is extremely exhausting to constantly have to think about food and to be constantly fighting the demon of like food, especially in a society where you need food to live. So you want to be able to look at food like you're going to the bathroom, right? You're hungry, you eat, you move on. You don't think about the toilet. You don't think about like where the nearest, maybe you do. I don't know. Sometimes you think about where the nearest bathroom is, but you don't think about those things, right? You just kind of live your life. And I want food to be the same way. So by reducing the food noise in your life, you will find that you will be able to enjoy many things, because what's really happening is that a lot of your life, you're losing a lot of your life because you're not living, you're thinking about food instead. So focus on other things besides food. Take into consideration the 3 habits that I just taught you and see if that works for you. And you guys give this a try and then leave me a comment below and let me know how it worked for you. If you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts, please don't forget to leave this podcast a review. And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.